Oh, absolutely, and I would say why only in India? It's a global phenomenon now. You see, if you understand how a transfer price is derived, you will understand the impact which is caused by the pandemic. Now, transfer pricing is based on some very basic assumptions, and these assumptions lead to a evaluation of a transfer price. And these assumptions are, for example, your supply chains, your procurement policies, your production policies, your target markets, your target customers, and for example, the cost of capital that you put into business. Now, these together, and depending upon business to business, there could be other factors. These put together, help you derive a functional asset and risk analysis, and then you benchmark it against the others, and that's how you derive or test your transfer pricing policy. Now, all of this in the global pandemic has changed. How? Now, look at your supply chain. Your supply chains, your procurement policies have gone haywire. Your geographies have changed. Your vendors could have changed. Some vendors could have gone bankrupt, unviable. Qualities must have changed because your vendors also have difficulty in procuring the input which they are necessary in the production process. So everything around them have changed. Your sourcing policies would have changed. So that is the change that you see in the supply chain management. Look at the production changes that have happened. The quality of people that you had hired would have changed. The efficiency of people that you would hired would have changed. The quality of material that you use would have changed. The logistical changes that you see in the whole process would have a bearing on this whole process. There could also be impact on technology. For example, some of the companies that we are working with have very clearly said that in the times of pandemic, we don't want to focus on very high level of innovation. All we want to do is we want to focus on basic level of R&D that helps us sustain. Right? Some have said that we want to move from standalone technologies to blockchain technologies, and these are two different views, and people react to in their own sense. But that shows you the impact the pandemic causes on this whole environment, and all of this put together is bound to have bearing on your prices. Take for example India. India is a big market for BPOs, the back office service providers, and they are primarily categorized into 3 or 4 categories. So one is a basic BPO, the other is a KPO, and then the third one is a contract R&D service provider. Now the margins, typically margins that have been acceptable to the tax regulators, have been in the range of, let's say, 15 to 16 for the basic BPOs, and let's say 18 to 19 for KPOs, and up to, let's say, 20-22% for the contract R&D providers. Now this pandemic, due to the fact that the resources that you're paying were not paid for some time, given the fact that the quality of work has gone down, given the fact that the profile of the work has gone down, given the fact that your customer requirements would have changed, given the fact that the integration of the entire product would have undergone a change, given various factors, external and internal factors, the 16 would ideally go down to 10 or 12. At least in the short run, and let's say and then it would marginally increase in the years to come, but it will take time for it to come back to 16. Similarly, the 18 margin is going to get impacted, and the 20 to 22% margin for the captive R&D is going to get impacted. Now, if you look at it from that perspective, every segment will have its own specifics, which will have its own parameters that would have changed, and obviously there's bound to be some difference.